Okay, I've got my hose here hooked already up to this. Let's go ahead and attach the vacuum to it. Hopefully this train won't be a problem. Same thing, take your 5/16, take your 5/16 and go counterclockwise with it to open it up. You can hold it there and start sucking what brake fluid is left in and out. Alright, I think we got it all. If there shouldn't have been too much left if we're at the end of the line. Go ahead and close that up. And take this off. Alright, now this part is supposed to be the repair that will fix the problem about this mysterious air getting into the brake lines. Now, one of the things that happened is that the air would get in there, we don't know where it's coming from. I've checked for leaks, I applied pressure to get the leaks, and and no leaks are showing up. There's no sign of where this is coming from. Pumping the brakes, once they get weak, pumping the brakes don't help, so that tells me it's not the master cylinder. So here's what we're going to look at. According to this guy, that needs to be replaced. Hopefully you can hear me over this train that's going by. Gotta reposition the camera a little bit there too. There we go. It looks better. Alright. All you gotta do is take our 5/16 wrench, turn that. The rest of this we ought to be able to do with our fingers. Let's get that out there. We want to be ready just in case there's some fluid we didn't get out. We're getting right to the edge. Okay. But no, it's good and dry in there. Now, I'm doing a little bit of a visual inspection in there to see what's going on. I don't see anything of concern in there, but let's see if we can pick this up on the camera. It doesn't look like it will, but there's a lot of black speckles on that. That could be pitting and corrosion, so this may be the answer. Well, I don't know yet, but we're going to see. Okay, first thing we need to do is remove this rubber part from the nipple itself, and that just kind of slides on. It'd be a lot easier if I didn't have gloves on, but we are going for safety and health here, so just kind of work it off there. There's no hurry. We want to take care of it. Go ahead and take our rag and kind of wipe it off, get it good and clean. And one thing we would look for on this, I mean, this isn't the most critical piece in the world, but it does serve a purpose. And we do want to keep the dust out of it. We want to go ahead and check that and make sure that we don't see any dry rot or cracking. And this one looks good. It looks like it still has a lot of life left in it. So this, like I said, it has this pitting on it, so this may be the problem. We have our new one. Let's go ahead and fish it out of here. Alright, just take this and put it right back on. We're going to do it kind of slowly. We don't want to tear it up. If anything, we can always just thread it on. Just let the threads on the bleed nipple do the work for you. And we got all day. Alright, it's all the way seated down. So, you just take this one, like I said, I looked in there. I don't see anything of concern. I don't see any debris. So we'll go ahead and install the new one. Just stick it on there and screw it in. Okay, we got that all the way screwed in. Now we go ahead and take our 5/16 and just snug it down. Like I said, I think it's 5.5 foot-pounds of pressure, and I'm going to double check that. It's not like this is a torque wrench, all right, but 5.5 pounds is not that much. Just good and snug. You don't want much pressure on this. It's kind of a soft metal in there, I'm going to guess, because you want it to seal good. So you want a soft metal that the fluid cannot escape through and air cannot get in. So, like I said, you know, just snug it down. And if you actually have a torque wrench, you can do that with 5.5 foot-pounds. Next thing we're going to do is start on putting fluid back in the system. Okay, we're ready to start putting fluid back in the system, getting this thing ready. Now, one of the things you need to understand is the direction you're going to put the fluid, the direction you're going to bleed. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to start with the master cylinder. I'm going to work down to the passenger side caliper, then go over to the driver's side caliper. I just realized what I said, and I know it's a motorcycle, so all right, let's go to the right caliper and the left caliper. All right, so master cylinder, then the right caliper, then the left caliper. All right, and I've heard other people actually say to do it the reverse, but to me, you've got to get fluid in the master cylinder before you can get to the others. So let's start on that. One thing you want to do is have your fluid and keep it handy. Now, while we're filling, and I'll go around to the other side to get a better camera view. While we're filling, at this point it's okay to get it a little full. Now later on when we're finishing up, we don't want to be completely full. We're going to have a little bit below the line. I've already got a little bit dripping down there. Go ahead and wipe that up. Now it's important, and I'll repeat this as time goes on, never let it go dry. Now that we're putting fluid back in, never let that go dry. Now we got our 5/16 wrench. Let's just set that right there. We're going to need it handy. We got our fluid handy. It's laying on the ground because we don't want to get it on the paint. All right, let's hook the vacuum back up. Let's take our 5/16. Let's crack this open. Just going to turn it that much. And let's start getting some fluid. All right, we got some fluid coming. You can see it going down in the reservoir. I can't, I don't know if you can. All right, now that's got it started. But let's go ahead and close off. And set that down. This is a job that's easier with two people, but I don't have a second person. I'm sure I'm going to get in your way, but we want to get a little fluid in here. I've let it get down to about halfway. Let's not get any more than halfway, if we can help it. All right. And let's crack this back open. There we go. Now we're getting a lot of fluid moving through. So at this point, this is a little trick I do. You do not need a separate bleeder bag if you're using this pump. However, I don't feel like this pump is the end-all to this. I think when it comes down to the final bleed, using a bleeder bag is the best way to go. You just get a more accurate indicator of if you're doing a good bleed or not. So what I'm going to do is just pop that off. I want to kind of find a place to set this. Got to be careful to not let it spill. That's the problem. Now what we're going to do is do what's called a manual bleed. If you have a bleeder bag, that's fine. I've just got that hanging down. But what you're wanting to do, open, push in, close, let out. open, push in, close, let out. And you're just going to keep doing this. Open, I got a little tight. Push in, close, let out. Open, push in, close, let out. Now I repositioned the camera because I want you to be able to see what I'm looking for, and hopefully the camera's picking it up. You can see right here there's some air bubbles. Now because I haven't got to the calipers yet, there's no way I'm going to have good tension on this handle yet. But what I want to do is get that as clean as possible. So let's keep going with it. I'm going to open, push in, close, let out, and drop stuff. Try this again. Open, push in, close, let out. Open, push in, close, let out. We're just going to keep doing this. And with the pump, you get all kinds of air bubbles. You really can't see what you're doing. But with this, that's a pretty good one right there. And we're not going to expect perfection just yet anyway. But it is just about as clean as it's going to get, especially when there's still going to be air down low. So the next thing we want to do, I bet you thought I was going to say go after the calipers. The next thing we want to do is top off our fluid. There we are. Now let's move down to the calipers.